Have you ever been trying to speak the origin of your name, like where your name came from, and you don't have the English words to express it? Or maybe you've been working on a project at work and it has lots of possibilities, and you want to try to get less of these possibilities. And you know there's a way to talk about that in English, but you just don't know what it is. Today we're going to talk about these 2 phrasal verbs plus 9 more to get you going and get you some more phrasal verbs today that start with the letter N. Hi, I'm Phil. I'm teaching you today from my office at Mayak in the Czech Republic. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's talk about the first one. It's nod off. It means to fall asleep quickly, briefly, unexpectedly. This. You're trying to stay awake, but you just can't do it. You can't stay awake. So we could say, he nodded off at the concert last night. He nodded off at the concert last night. His head was making this nodding motion as he continued to unexpectedly fall asleep in the concert. Next we have nail down. Today we'll talk about 2 of the meanings for this phrasal verb, nail down. The first one is to fasten something securely with nails, right? To fasten something securely with nails. He nailed down the board so that it wouldn't move. He nailed down the board so it wouldn't move. Next is more abstract. It's to identify something precisely. To identify something precisely. We just couldn't nail down a time to get together. We couldn't nail down a time to get together. I say this often when I'm trying to meet with a friend and we're trying to find the right time and the right day to meet, and it's just almost impossible. We can't nail it down. Just for fun and simplicity, let's just do the opposite of nail down, nail up. And nail up is a lot the same as nail down, but we put it up somewhere, probably on a wall, to fasten something securely with a nail on a wall. So can you help me nail this picture up on the wall? Can you help me nail this picture up on the wall? Okay, the next one is nag at. Nag at. And this means to annoy someone constantly with something that they really don't want to do. You're asking them and annoying them constantly to do something that they don't really want to do. She constantly nags at her daughter to do her chores. She constantly nags at her daughter to do her chores. So we could use this phrasal verb as a phrasal verb, nag at, that's normal. And we can also use it without the at, just as the verb nags. She constantly nags her daughter to do her chores, or nags at her daughter. Either one is fine. To name after, name after. And this is to give someone the name after some other person or some other place. You give someone a name based on another person or another place. And this is what I was speaking about at the beginning, when sometimes you actually want to talk about the origin of your name. Well, this is how we can do it. You're named after someone or something. He's named after his great-grandfather. He's named after his great-grandfather. That means he and his great-grandfather have the same name. The next one I also mentioned at the beginning, it's to narrow down. Narrow down means you have a whole bunch of possibilities and you reduce those possibilities to a few, to less than that. So you reduce the number of possibilities that you have. So maybe a company is looking for a new employee and they have a lot of candidates, and we can say the company has now narrowed down their candidates to just 2. They have narrowed down their candidates to 2. Next one is nerd out. Nerd out. It's to be really, really excited about something, maybe even obsessed with something. It's probably something you put a lot of research and time into and you know a lot about. Nerd out. Now, nerd out makes a little more sense if we take the word nerd first. Nerd is a slang term in English. It's pretty old. It means a person who probably studies a lot. If someone is nerdy or he's a nerd, maybe he stereotypically wears glasses. He just likes to study all the time. He knows a lot of stuff. He's very smart, but he's maybe not so socially aware. He's more smart, but not really socially aware. So from here we have the word or the phrasal verb nerd out. That means you're so excited about something, you're probably not even aware of other people socially, but you know a lot about your particular topic, you're even obsessed with it, and you have this laser focus for whatever this thing is. So whenever I watch my favorite TV show, I usually just nerd out and I could talk about it for hours. That means you've spent a lot of time watching this TV show, and when somebody asks you about it, you could talk about it forever because you know all kinds of things about the story, about the cast, about everything in this show. But you could really nerd out about just about anything. It could be books, a certain type of book, a video game, your job even. Anything that you put a lot of time and energy into and you love it. You're obsessed with it. Next, we have a 3-part phrasal verb, nibble away at. Nibble away at. This one might be new for you. So let's first look at the word nibble, the verb nibble. Nibble is to just take really small bites. If I was sitting at the table and I was going just a little bit at a time of my food, just small bites, I would say I'm nibbling at it. Or maybe a parent will say to a child, stop just nibbling at your food, take a bite of it. Take a real regular sized bite. Don't just nibble. So this is the verb nibble. So the phrasal verb nibble away at is really similar to this verb nibble. It means to take away a small part of something gradually so that the total is gradually reduced. It won't be a big chunk out of the total at the beginning. It will just be small pieces. But after you take many of these nibbles, after you nibble away at something, bit by bit, you can see finally the total is reduced. It is a smaller project now. I've been nibbling away at my big school project now for a few weeks. I've been nibbling away at my big school project now for a couple of weeks. And this means over the last couple of weeks, I've done just a little bit of my project, maybe every evening or every couple of evenings. And this thing that used to be a big school project now isn't so big because I've spent maybe 20 or 30 minutes on it every evening. And now my big project isn't so big anymore. It's pretty small because I've nibbled away at it. I've gradually but consistently been doing it. Or the police have been nibbling away at crime in the city for years. That means the police haven't made big strides in cutting down crime, but gradually over these last few years, bit by bit, the crime has gone lower because the police have taken small steps gradually and consistently to make crime less. So they've nibbled away at crime over the last few years. Nose around. Nose around. This means to search for some hidden or private information, probably in a secretive way. Probably in a secretive way. So she caught him nosing around her office. She caught him nosing around her office. That means she was out of her office and he had snuck in secretively. And if he was nosing around her office, he was going through her drawers, looking in cabinets for some information, but he was doing it secretly, so he didn't expect that she would come back in the room when he was nosing around. So the sentence is, she caught him nosing around her office. Number among. Number among. It means simply to belong to a certain group, to be counted in a certain group. You are numbered among them. So you can say to your friend, hey, I know that's a really great choir, and I know that you sing. Do you number among them? And you could say, yes, I do sing, and I love this choir. This is a great group of people who sing together, and I am happy, I am proud to be numbered among them. I am happy to be numbered among them. Next, we have nuzzle up or nuzzle up to. Nuzzle up or nuzzle up to. It means to touch, rub, or press up against something lovingly, in a good way, lovingly. So touch, rub, or press up against someone or something lovingly. And we usually do this with the head or the nose. So it's kind of like rubbing your head near someone or something, or nose, like this. Nuzzle up to. My dog came up and nuzzled my foot, and he cheered me right up. My dog came up to me and nuzzled my foot, and it cheered me up. So it means the dog pressed his head or his nose up against my foot lovingly in a kind way, and it was a situation where the dog nuzzled up to me or to my foot. And the child likes to nuzzle up to his mom. The child likes to nuzzle up to his mom. Maybe the mom is sitting on the couch and the child just comes in with his head and he puts it up against his mom and they nuzzle up to each other. Thanks for watching. That's all of our phrasal verbs for today. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.